Hello, and welcome to ClickerBait, the Last of Us TV show podcast, where tonight 3 gamers come together to unpack the HBO show. And 3 of us have one thing in common. The Last of Us is our favorite game of all time. So if you love the game, the show, or even better, both and us, I'm going to add that in here. All of us, if you love all of us. There's no better place to be than every Monday night right here on ClickerBait, twitch.tv/JK Games Podcast, where we go through and recap the Last of Us HBO show. I'm saying HBO and Last of Us way too much, and see, this is what happens when I get off.
Some people say not enough.
No, I should say it a few more times. But yeah, we recap the episodes after they air on Sunday nights. It's pretty fun. This one's also really juicy. But tonight, like we've done in the last 3 or 4 episodes, I don't know why I keep saying juicy. I've said juicy earlier.
It's a great word.
It is. And I am feeling a little juicy. So
free the juice.
Free the juice. That's our, I don't know what it means, but that's our saying for tonight.
One would say it's already flowing. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm flowing.
And if you're new here, we just want you to know we are going to be spoiler filled from the jump. So that means if you haven't played the games and don't know what's coming next, you might want to continue listening at your own risk, because we spoil the shit out of The Last of Us here, because we played the games. We probably, honestly, I don't know what's coming next, but we do have some ideas. So don't want to ruin your experience either.
I fear I've been filled.
Good.
Very well said. Very well said.
Juicy
Jerica.
and full. That's us tonight. But yo, let me tell you, fellow clicker baiters, I said it. This week's episode hits harder than a Seraphites hammer. Ellie is sort of angry, and then Dina takes an arrow to the leg. I don't know if y'all saw that, and I'm not a big Skyrim fan, but I made a little joke about that part. And then even Jesse rolled up. You know, he shows up in that awkward third wheel, not fourth wheel. Unless there's someone else, we can include one of the stalkers. So I summarized the episode for us. But don't worry.
All right, that's our show.
That's it. That's it. Bye. See you next time. But no, we'll dive into it here in just a few moments. But if you didn't know, I'm Jerica. I'm one of your lovely hosts here this evening, and I'm going to try my darndest to recap The Last of Us episode 5. What was it? Feel Her Love. I keep wanting to add feel her love with
Fill her love? Oh no.
I keep wanting to say that. But yeah, we're gonna get diving into that. I'm Jerica. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah. The rest of the people that are here. There's 2 others joining us.
Yes.
And I had a little extra planned to add to it. Let's see. Yes. Okay. This is for Patrick's when the time's ready. Spoiler, that guy there is Patrick. But tonight with me also is our cozy game connoisseur. She always finds a way to make The Last of Us seem like a farm sim. Say hey to my JK Games partner in crime, Kayla.
I will never stop asking for The Last of Us farm sim till the day I die. It's not a bit, it's real, and it should exist. And they got rid of the freaking multiplayer project they were working on. And do you know how upset I would be if that's what this was and it's not happening? I have a lot of thoughts. Can't wait to dive in. Very happy to be joined by RP Swishy here. But yeah, I'm excited to dive further into all the fun things. Is this where you want me to plug, or do you want me to wait, Jericho?
Pause for the plugging.
Boy,
we're not filled yet all the way.
Someone else needs to be plugged.
We got one more. We got one more.
One more.
Also, with us tonight is the sweetest infected in the game, the host with the most from Spotlight Games, and a true survivor who had a tree fall on his house last week and is still here to talk about The Last of Us. Welcome back, Patrick.
Hello, thanks for having me back. I fear my cat is shitting less than a foot from me right now. Oh no, it was just pee. He just peed. Whew, that would have been bad. Yeah, no, I am
just pee.
Currently in a what was once an attic, now a guest bedroom with 3 cats. Just hashtag surviving right now. But I thought if I didn't come back and talk about this show any sooner, I might find another tree. So happy to be here. And I apologize in advance for any quality issues. I think the mic will be fine. The camera, we all know, looks like ass, but that's okay.
It actually doesn't look too shabby.
I like
think
the lighting.
Yeah, it's
you know?
calm. You're bringing cozy vibes and like prison, a prison cell.
True.
Look.
Yeah.
It's a mixture
I'm
of both.
always going for a cozy prison vibe. Also, this is the my official announcement. If we can get 20 subs tonight, I will huff this gloss protective enamel that I just found on the floor. 20 subs, and I'll inhale as much as I can.
Go.
Oh
I'm
my
probably
God.
breaking some kind of TOS, but
Probably
Stop
so. Hashtag
Stop me.
endure and survive. You know what I mean? Truly. Truly. Heroic Headgear said beautiful angle and lighting. Please don't do that. And then High School Weekly said you look like a 19th century streamer. That's so funny. We're happy you're here, Patrick. Thanks. For being here. And that's true dedication. But
Thank you. Spelled DEAD.
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. But one thing that you should also do before we dive in is go check out our brand new website that Jerica has so kindly put together and spent so much of her time on. And I'm going to take this moment to just brag on what a good job she has done. And even if you don't want to buy anything, which is totally fine, there is merch available. I'm wearing a piece. Jerica is wearing a piece. Even if you don't want to purchase anything or cannot, we understand that the economy is absolute shit. And at least take a look because it looks really nice. And there is also an about page on there. There's ClickerBait merch and there's JK Games merch. You can find she's got it pulled up, folks. Perfect. You can also find the links to all of our various things. It has the most recent uploads on there. Lots of things to look at and see. Oh my gosh, Ryan Selvey merch drop. So funny. Thanks for the link, Josh.
I mean,
buying a
don't
sweater
you
on
want to
Friday.
look cool with
yeah.
like this guy? Like, can y'all see? I want to look at this man. I don't know who he is, but
Look at that man.
Look at this man. We don't support this man and his doing.
Can we get eyes on this man, please?
look at this guy.
Absolutely incredible.
You can look just like him.
Blaster Goblin has a recommendation early on, which Blaster Goblin was one of our first models. If you haven't taken a look at our Instagram post at JK Games Podcast, you can see all of our lovely quality assurance models, including P Swishy. But the suggestion was that we forgot a trucker hat. That was Blaster Goblin's suggestion.
Ooh,
but
I
the
also
hats
think we
that are
need
on there.
a thong. I want to get a thong.
Ooh, let me suggest it because I don't think I saw any undies there. But there's an option to submit like requests for anything basically. So I'll put it in there.
And then of course
pasties.
no, J and K, like J on one, K on the other. Perfect.
I was about to do a dance, but I'm not going to do that. Just seeing the J and the K
TOS.
doing this.
Hey, High School Weekly did also say he was promised diapers, which was true. We did say that. We would do that.
I'm working on it.
Diapers and pens.
Custom order.
Exactly. And on there as well, you can find. I think the link to our drop in drop out Discord is on there. I think I can't remember, but if it's not, you can go to the other website that we're all a part of, which is dropindropoutpod.com.
Very good.
What do
Nailed
you
it.
think? And then you can participate in our live spoilery discussion as each episode airs because we only have 2 left, which is very sad. We have not all agreed to this, but I am sure everyone is in the boat of that we will do a follow-up after the season finale to look to the future and see what is coming. But that will be the end of ClickerBait as of right now. And we'll go back to regular programming. But yeah, that is all for housekeeping. Shout out to Respawn Aim Fire for their raid. Hello, Chad.
Hello, bait my clicker. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what Chad said. I tried to channel my inner Chad. Hope that worked.
Ryan Selvey asks, what comes after ClickerBait?
Oh, that's a good question. I ask myself that every day. I sort of screamed it in the shower this morning because I'm so sad to know that we only have 2 episodes left. So I was like, what comes after ClickerBait? It's JK Games. We're back. We've been tossing around some things, some ideas. So stay tuned. But JK Games will be back. Or will it?
And
will it be back? I don't know.
we'll be live here at some point on Mondays. You know what I mean? We might take a little break. We've talked about that, but the good news is you can see all of us on various forms of content almost every day of the week if you follow Drop In, Drop Out Pod, which is our network where Patrick and Jerica and I are all on various forms of, we have Drop In, Drop Out on Thursdays, all the things you can find there. So yeah.
I'm also trying to soft pitch a Golden Girls watch along podcast.
Ooh.
So maybe that
I've never seen it.
ClickerBait.
Could be the first.
Yeah, I mean,
I've never sat down and just watch a full episode either. I've just seen bits and pieces. I might be interested.
Just saying.
Amazing.
Could be. Everything's on the table. All options are on the table.
God, love it.
Ryan Selvey, don't worry. Your cozy request will be fulfilled. Don't worry. Somewhere you will find me yapping.
Cozy Mondays.
Hey. But yeah, that's all for us.
All right. I'm about to do my very best at recapping this episode. Y'all ready for me
Jerica,
to...
have you been working out? Your biceps right now, dude.
Hey!
Oh, thank you. No, I haven't. My wrist is basically broke from playing Expedition 33, so I don't know. I mean,
I feel like maybe we have an Abby in our midst right now.
Shut up. Don't butter my roll. This is too soon. Too early for my butter roll. No, not working out. So maybe I'll just keep eating what I'm eating. Junk food and Red Bull and Cheez-Its. Like,
this is true.
That's all you need to have muscles.
True gamer diet. True gamer diet.
I hope I'm pronouncing this lady's name right.
Oh, here we go.
We're starting. We're starting in the true Jerica fashion. Okay, we open the scene of this episode with Hannah Rahan. I wanted to say it.
Give it one more time.
We open with Hannah Rahan asking.
Hanrahan.
Damn it.
Hannah Rahan. Hannah Rahan.
I was making it fancy. I've been playing a lot of Expedition 33, so I feel like maybe that's French. No, it's not.
She was trying to make it French, folks.
That lady was asking this other lady to recount events that happened that led to dead members of the WLF in the hospital. Elise Park, I think I got her name right. The lady being questioned looks like she's pretty sad. Learning that her son Leon and a team of soldiers were lost after encountering, they were trying to secure the bottom floors of the basement. Apparently, cordyceps spores became airborne, and it was so intense that they had to will themselves shut in the basement. Well, he sort of tough in this scenario because Elise is talking about her son who was in the basement while this was going down and had to basically agreed to lock them in because they didn't want the spores getting out, so everyone else is getting affected. So spores are finally here in the show. And yeah, I thought this moment was interesting, this conversation. I know I'm just like simplifying it so deep, so we'll talk about it in just a second. But introducing the element of spores and then also having sort of the opposite of the choice that Joel made. So, this lady said it was the right thing for him to lock himself out, not try to save him for the wellness of the group. So I thought that was an interesting pivot just to sort of balance between Joel's decision to save Ellie versus what's happening here. So yeah, that's my mediocre recap of the first scene. What did
I wouldn't say mediocre.
Oh, shuck. Oh, damn. Thanks.
Yeah, I really liked this scene. I was, what was it you, Jerica, that was saying spores were going to come back?
Yeah, I said it, and they're here.
Did predict it.
And you're right. So we have to first address that you're correct.
Of course.
What an odd thing, though, I think, to be so clear that they changed it from spores and give so many reasons why and then bring it back. I like that they brought it back. I think, especially for later in the episode, I don't know how that moment could have worked with Nora without spores.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like this kind of comparing it to Joel and Ellie. Like, this parent made what some might consider the better choice, the more just choice or the more fair choice. And the way they do it, like with the line of her at the very end being like, sorry about your son. It's like, oh, of course it was her kid.
Yeah.
But
they kind of throw that in.
Yeah, and like I like that they're already kind of starting to, because we're full spoilers for everything in the game. They're already kind of starting to tease what might be below basement 1 and 2. So yeah, I think this is a very strong start to the episode.
I agree. I think that it definitely did seem like there was a very conscious choice to go the route of the, I don't even know what you call it, like the tentacle type.
The tendrils is what they call it.
Tendrils, right. And so the only thing that I can think of is almost like the tension of the show is growing, and so also is the environment that we're around. So like I think it's promoting some almost like more fear as we continue throughout. And so while I do think it might have just been a useful plot device for what they needed to do with the Nora stuff, I think it'll come back around for sure. It doesn't necessarily completely take me out of it to have that. Like, also, I think some of the scenes that we see later are really cool. I hate to be the Debbie Downer so early on, but I don't know that it was really necessary to have the thing with her and her son. Because I think it does add to the thing, like they're really laying some things out, like they're keeping something so close to the chest by like just showing you, but then there's some things they're just like slamming, like, see, look, it's just like the opposite. See, look at this.
Yeah.
So some things it's just so interesting. Like some things they're like with Ellie, like we'll talk about later with her, like finally, thank God, like showing some of her like pent up rage. Like some things with her, they've been like letting the watcher kind of like fill in the blanks. And then some things they're like portraying very clear parallels. But I don't necessarily mind, like, that's kind of just me playing devil's advocate in a way, because I did think that the scene was very well done. I actually really, something about two ladies smoking a cigarette.
Oh, come on, dude.
It's hot.
I don't know. I love women. Like, I really do. Like,
I love women smoking cigarettes.
I just thought it was
having
very,
tough
like,
conversations.
It was badass. Like, I thought it was very much, and I was glad it was two ladies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was like,
in
wow.
fact, not for any other reason in my life, but seeing those two women smoke cigarettes, I think I'm picking up cigarettes, y'all.
I know.
This in Jerica's Metal Gear stream, she did.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to promote cigarettes at all. It just keeps popping up. Listen, there's a bar I know, and I've talked about it, I feel like, on the show, called the Smoking Moose. We can go anytime.
Yeah.
I fear cigarettes are very cool.
Wow, please, no one, please. Please. But no, I thought that scene was very cool. And like, I do think that, like, I like that it ties everything back together with at the end when you see him. But I do think it wasn't, I think sometimes that they're almost thinking that the audience isn't going to put those things together, like the parallel.
For
like,
sure.
I feel like we can know that the impact is horrible, and like the what some people see as just is not just to other people. But
I think we've
for the sake of the show.
To your point, though, I think we've had it a few too many times now.
I agree.
Like, I don't need a parallel every episode. Not even like, I don't even know if it's considered a parallel. It's like an opposite parallel, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And like the way that Craig in the post episode was like, and you see the fact that she also has a kid, much like Joel has Ellie, makes you wonder. It's like, fucking shut up, man.
We knew it.
Yeah.
If he finds this show, he might be mad at us, but you know what? We're giving honest feedback. It makes us feel a little smarter if we don't have to be told those things when we know it.
Sure. Before we move on, no, you're making a good point, Kayla. I'm taking us off track. You go.
Oh, I don't know what I was.
I think
Great, never mind. Do you guys remember the old commercials about like trying to convince us not to smoke? They like sing the little song. You remember this?
Yeah.
And the
always die from tobacco.
That's it. Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just lose a lung. Classic.
Copyright strike.
Remember this moment because there's a scene later that I feel like that made my voice do that, and we'll come back to it.
Really quick before we move on to the next scene, there's a couple people confused on, was this a flashback or was this recent? This first scene.
That was
it was current events.
Yeah, because I agree though, it was a little confusing. Like Ryan Selvey wasn't sure, and neither was Aaron Eats Food.
If anything, it might have been maybe like a week or two at most, but like I feel like it just happened. I don't know how long.
Definitely like current.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think if it wasn't, then they would have just put flashback because like they've been doing that. So
Sure.
yeah, that's my last thing on that.
Yeah, how long's it? So, like, if I was in the basement of this hospital, we're still talking about it, but just give me a second.
Oh.
How long would it take me to be stuck into the wall and then?
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, well, we saw the second person that blows spores was the lady's son, so it didn't take very long for him to get walled.
Well, maybe it was a few weeks.
Maybe
a few weeks makes it a flashback, so sort of.
Sure,
flashback.
yeah, sure.
Semantics.
I keep telling my girlfriend during the last 3 episodes, especially, I was like, we listen, we don't judge, we don't question. That's the theme of The Last of Us season 2. That's what I've been saying. Don't question it. All right. So, hey, we get told, hey, it's day 2 in Seattle, just like the game. That's in the game. And we are joining Ellie and Dina again, also known as Deli.
Whoa.
Little deli sandwich over here.
Then we just gotta go pop by the deli real fast.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I can't do that accent. I wish I could. I'll just ruin it, and then it ends up sounding Italian and then Jamaican.
Impressions.
I want to be better. I need to take some classes
animal
from
impressions.
Patrick.
Ooh, sure.
Ellie and Dina are still navigating the chaos of Seattle that they've been dealing with. They're staying safe in the theater, though, which I can relate. I'd want to stay there too. It looks cozy. It's big, spacious.
Nothing bad happens there.
My summary here is hilarious, so just bear with me. Ellie and Dina are talking at the map. Dina's doing math and things, triangulating communication, trying to figure out based on WLF is just telling they're sharing everything over the radio, and I'll get to why in just a second in that conversation. But Ellie basically just shows up and is like, "Oh, you're figuring it out how we can, safely get from point A to B." Because I think at some point, like Dina hears that like Nora is in the hospital, and Ellie's like, "Okay, cool, that's how we need to get to Abby. We get to Nora first."
Mm-hmm.
But they're just trying to figure out like how to get there. And basically Ellie is just like, "You're smart. I'm not. I'm going to go explore." And we'll sort of pause there for a second because we'll get to where she walks down into the, like, she goes up on the stage here in a second. But like, I don't know. I don't like that dialogue too much. Just because like, I'm like, Ellie, the writing was off a little bit there. Once again, it just didn't embody the Ellie that I know, but maybe this is just a different version of Ellie, which I still have to be okay with. But like, I don't know, like when I played through the game, like Ellie was a little bit more confident in herself in some aspects, especially with like, I don't know, like being strategic and knowing how to, which I know in the show, they're trying to have Dina sort of like balance and be the more, the person that spent the more time with Joel and like knows how to be strategic versus Ellie. But I don't know. It's weird. I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, they can put. Never mind. I agree. I think our sweet dumpster boy was making a good point in the Discord earlier today. Of like, there's just like this weird tonal thing happening in this show, especially with Ellie's character, where we're just getting so like. Not that I don't think Ellie should only ever be angry and upset and like vengeful, but where she's just like so bright a lot of the time here. And like, sure, the timeline is different with her and Dina. Like they just fell in love officially the night before. So like maybe she's just kind of on cloud 9 because of what happened last night. But
true.
There's this weird tonal thing happening where it's like, it's hard for me to buy sometimes that this person wants to fucking beat somebody's face in. Yeah. Not to say that like someone can't have multiple dimensions, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. Like, because like you were saying, Jerica, in the game, by this point, Ellie is just so fucking, I just want to kill. And it took us until like the end of this episode to really see that Ellie in Seattle. So, and the writing, like you said, is not helping.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kayla.
I agree. I think that like I don't like that they're making Ellie like stupid. It seems like they're almost like making they're making her they're portraying, and it's not just this scene. Like there's lots of scenes where like, and I love Dina's character. I love all the changes they've made to her. I think that she really excels. Like obviously the actress is great. I really like Bella and Ramsey as an actress, but I think that like the problem for me is some of the dialogue that they're giving her is, it almost seems like they're like, oh, I'm the big, like, I'm just the muscle. I'm here to like, like I'm just going in guns blazing, which is a part of her character. Like that is true. But I do think like some of it feels a little bit like, well, I mean, you have attributes that are helpful. Like there's, it's almost like two sides of the coin kind of thing. But I think that maybe in this situation, it was to have her be more of like the exploring, like, and I talked about, we talked about on last week and previous episodes that like I have come to the acceptance stage of grief of that this Ellie's just different.
Yeah.
And that was like an intentional choice made by the direction of the show. But I do think, and this is getting a little bit ahead, I do think we're getting a pivot. And I'm happy to get the pivot, and maybe it'll pay off. I think it could pay off. I think at the end of the show, I have a lot of thoughts. But yeah, definitely like in the opening scenes that we're talking about now, like very much more of an upbeat vibe. Like, which to your point, Patrick, is probably intentional because like they're kind of giddy a little bit. Like,
Sure.
Dina's got her bun. She's got her bun in. She's like, it's the morning after, So yeah.
I saw someone online. One of y'all might have even sent it to me. It was a meme that was like, "Where did Dina find a Dyson Air?"
I know, like every time she steps on the street,
her hair looks so good in every
Seattle. It's just the hair is perfect.
Yeah.
Like, man,
they stank though.
They do stink.
Yeah.
They gotta stink.
Oh, they gotta stink so bad. They've been wearing the same clothes.
Smell like jerky, and I won't say the other thing. Okay. Ellie says she's not good at math and walks away and starts like exploring the theater a little bit more and comes across the main stage area, the seating, and then like the main theater room, right? Is that what it's called?
Great.
Patrick, you're an actor. Auditorium.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're more familiar with it than I am.
She walks through the house, we might call it.
Yeah. Walks through the house, goes up on the stage, and I immediately was like, that's from the game. And it makes me and that was where
That's from the game.
That's from the game. And I was like, ooh, I like how they set up the stage, has all the boxes and the instruments. And I'm like, ooh, I hated that location in the game for a lot of reasons. Makes me want to play again because I love feeling pain. But I thought that was a good set piece design there. And then as Ellie is approaching one of the guitars, I feel like there's also a lot of new looking guitars here. No one's touched them. No silica beads
Somehow, in 20 plus years, no one has made their way into this theater. And in fact, the last setup for a full band is just still there.
It's there.
No silica packets.
But whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, we don't question it at this point. And
that's the least of my concerns.
But it made up the next scene, or the next moment made up for it, because we got to hear a few words uttered by Ellie, which is the song we've been missing the whole season, is Future Days. Only says a few words, sings it very softly until they're interrupted by Dina saying, "Hey, I've got an idea. I know what to do next." So what did y'all think about the little tease of Future Days here?
As she was playing it, I was like, Joe, I'm on a podcast. Please stop playing with the noise toy. As she's playing the song, I'm like, all right, we're finally getting the fucking flashback. LFG, brother. Yeah. Let's fucking go. And then we don't get the fucking flashback.
Nope.
But I'm glad that we're at least, if we had gotten through 5 episodes and not heard any part of Future Days, I would have been yelling on this podcast.
I thought of you immediately because I knew like this is a big thing that you were waiting on. And also we can't go without saying that Jake Twitchin said Patrick stole my dad's FaceTime camera angle.
Whoa, this fucking guy. let me get to the chat.
But yeah, I agree. Like a lot of people are agreeing in the chat. Like Ryan Selvey actually said, which I didn't think about this. I was scared for 1/1000th of a second that she was going to smash the guitar. That actually would have been, I kind of would have liked that.
That would have been pretty good. Listen, at this point though, like I know you're continue to read a few and I didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to say like we'll get to this a little. This probably I could bring this up later, but I wonder if big focus on mental health in this episode.
Yeah.
And I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional. We all know this. We know this. I don't know. Like this Ellie, maybe a little bipolar. Like I don't know what those things look like. But we go from. I don't know if Ellie is just suppressing a lot of these emotions because when Ellie's singing Future Days here, even though it's just a few words, like you can just see how zone in and like hyper focused Ellie is on that moment. And it's almost like everything around her just dissipates. And then, Dina comes in and interrupts and sort of snaps her out of it. And it's like literally like a 180, like in terms of her emotion. Cause it's like happy go lucky. And then the fucking grin. Bella Ramsey has this grin and I love it. I think it's great, but I'm starting to see it often. You see it this beginning of the episode and at the end. I can't even do it. And I'm like, now is it getting suppressed? Are these emotions like getting suppressed down? Or I don't know. Like, well, I don't know. But I think it's a switch that goes on and off that you don't have Ellie having those moments in the game at all. Cause it's just like one, what's the word? One drive, one.
It's like
I'm driving a car.
Gear.
One gear.
Thank you.
Gears mentioned.
We're
Gears
such a
of War
trio.
Gears of War.
I agree. I do like that they didn't play the whole song because to Marlsbad's point in the chat, my coworkers, non-knowers, were mad that Ellie was going to play another full song.
It did feel a little goofy. I get that.
Yeah, which I get, especially if you're not a game player, like how that would be kind of weird. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
why didn't you fucking sing it again?
Yeah, she's singing again. What's going on?
She's singing again, man.
Yeah, for those who are not knowers, I could see that. But I liked, and I think this was a really good moment. And I think it's a peak. And I almost think, like, Jerica, definitely you could be onto something with the bipolar disorder. Or it could be masking, just in general. Like, I mean, we know that Bella Ramsey has openly talked about that they as an actor are autistic. So maybe some of that is purposely being brought into, which, I mean, there's many reasons why you don't have to just be autistic to mask. You can also have PTSD. You can have like all these kinds of things to be able to like push or to feel like you have to push down like what you're feeling. Obviously she's undergoing a lot of mixed emotions because I mean, she's thrilled, I'm sure, to have Dina right now, after all these years, presumably. But also, like, the worst pain she's ever experienced just happened like a couple months ago. Yeah. Which also we don't need to forget that technically more time has passed in this show universe than it had when we had the game. In the game, it was like immediate, right after. Don't like that change, but it is something to know that in the show it's been like 3 months or so. I think that she was in the hospital. I think. Yeah. If I remember correctly. So there's also that like a little bit of removal, but that's kind of all my thoughts. I like that you can see the eye shift where she's just like,
Sure. Did either of you notice, because I didn't, but then I was listening to the official HBO podcast and they were talking about there's this like bass that's happening that like matches Ellie's shift, like a darkness. Did either of you notice this?
I didn't notice.
I didn't notice this. I was like, I feel like you're trying to make this a thing. But I wanted to go. I didn't get to watch it again to look for that.
Yeah.
So I was just curious if anybody noticed that.
Nope.
Yeah. No. Oh.
Gus.
Oh. Gus did.
He did notice. But no, yeah. Oh, I guess feature. Oh,
anywho.
I can only do so much.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for going down that. Yeah, little side quest because I was just curious, like talking about like just the change in personality back and forth. And to your point, you make a great point. Just not as much or more time has passed in the show, so that could be a part of it as well. And then also just this is just a different Ellie, so which is fine. I am okay with it. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep talking through the next things as Patrick's assisting the kitty.
Yeah, so adjusting to his environment.
Oh, nice. So they talked through their next steps. Dina, I think I sort of recapped this a little too early, but there's after listening to the radio and saying like I feel like she said something like these assholes are like quite chatty or something like that. Like they're just talking their asses off. It's almost like they don't need to protect what they're talking about because like the Seraphites, the people they're at war with, almost are like the Amish people, you know,
Yeah.
the Amish. Dina brings up the Amish folks, and Ellie's like, I don't know who they are. And
Yeah,
Dina's like,
the
but
good point.
they don't use technology. So like they don't really have to, the WLF doesn't really have to worry about what they're saying on the radios because no one's using them. So I thought it was a cool little pickup. I wouldn't have noticed. I probably wouldn't have picked up on
I
that
wouldn't
because
have.
I'm not a survivor. I'm to have it been on the game show Survivor. I feel like those
Sure.
people are the only ones that would pick it up. Dina and the survival.
Yeah, that was a very apt, a very like smart discovery. It's like, oh yeah, they must. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I didn't mind that. I thought it was interesting.
Dina also picked up on, oh, there's like this area that it seems like all the WLF folks are avoiding. And Ellie's like, probably full of infected. Yep, probably so. Well, it could be a way for us to sneak to the hospital being undetected. Might be the safest way to do it, but also the riskiest at the same time. But if they're going to do it, let's go through this warehouse, this building that we don't know what's inside. So they make their way. They leave the theater, and while on their way there, they actually come across like a stack of bodies, WLF soldiers, super gruesome. Dina pukes again, to be expected at this point. She's pregnant and just, always throwing up. And then that's sort of like when it clicked with Ellie, though, that like this might be too dangerous for Dina, and basically tells her like, hey, this was sort of stupid. I'm so stupid. Are you sure you want to continue? And Dina's like, do you remember, have I told you about the first person I killed? So basically explaining like what had happened to her family. I think when she was 8 years old, the reason, why I guess she ended up in Jackson, it says, her mother and sister died because she was begging to go outside. And finally her mom's like, well, I can go outside. She takes her gun, goes, plays outside. And went on her way back in, like an intruder, what's the word? Not an intruder, raider. Thank you. Has killed her mother and sister, and Dina shoots him. And this story is sort of explaining Dina's commitment to why she's like, it would really suck if you had to sit there and bear witness to them dying. Imagine if she was in the house when it happened and she had to be forced to watch them die. Basically, if the guy had done that, and if he was alive still, she would search the world for this guy until he was dead and kill him. Sort of explaining like her commitment to whatever happened to Joel in that manner he did not deserve that. And I'm like, man, you still don't know. Dina don't know what he did yet. Yeah, I hope that gets brought up at some point. But I had to add here, Dina, lore unlocked. We don't have that in the game. That's new information. That's a new part of the character we didn't know. That backstory. So what did y'all think about Dina's share here?
I agree with Ryan Selvey in the chat. I wish this had been a flashback. I wish we had seen this instead of like, show us, don't tell us kind of thing. Like I think Isabel Merced was did fine with it. I don't think it was like bad acting by any means. I think that some of the writing still felt a bit like kind of ham-fisted, but even if it's like not a full flashback, if it's like a cutting back and forth, like she's telling the story, but like we keep kind of seeing flashes or images or like 3 seconds here, 4 seconds there kind of thing. I think it would have landed a little better. Because also it wasn't, and like maybe it's just me being stupid, but I didn't quite understand by the end of it that what she was saying was she killed the guy. It took me listening to the podcast to understand. No, I guess maybe that was obvious. Maybe I was distracted or whatever.
Well, it was sort of.
I could see that though.
I think the message was a little confusing too, because I literally had to go back and watch this episode. So my notes for this part before I went back and rewatched the episode, totally wrong. I had Ellie like asking her, "Oh, did you ever tell me about the first person you killed?" No, Dina brings it up because Dina wants to tell Ellie like, "Hey, just the fact that she had to witness Joel like dying. It's all is worse than anything. Like you having to witness that." And I sort of almost lost the goal with why she was sharing this. So after a rewatch, it sort of landed.
Yeah, I think what Patrick's thinking too, and like what I kind of felt also was like there was two separate messages happening.
Yeah.
Like it was that they were trying to tie it back together. And I actually really did like this part. I love that we get a little bit more about Dina because like her character is even more involved now that she is going along at least part of this journey with us. And I do think like I love the little bits and nuggets of Dina lore that you get in the game that they have changed like her story a bit. Or at least modified it some. Like you do also get that because they said Santa Fe, so you now know that she is from New Mexico, which is quite far from Jackson or from.
I don't
Wyoming.
know
It's on
geography.
like the same half of the United States, but they're not close to each other.
Because also like, and maybe we get this later, maybe next season, but she doesn't answer how she got to Jackson.
I know. I want to know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it seemed ominous. Like
It did. It
was
did.
strange.
I mean, she was 8, and so the two people that
Yeah.
she lived with died, and she killed the raider. So what happens then? Like, is next season a Dina season? Do we get a Dina like full like thing? Who knows?
Probably not.
Who's to say? Probably not.
Damn
But yeah, I agree. It would have been nice to have it be a visual while we were listening. Not to say that she didn't do a good job performing, because she did. I think that it definitely added to the tone. I like that we get, I'm skipping a teeny bit ahead, but like, I like that we get a little bit of Ellie panic. Like, oh shit, we probably don't need to have you here. Like, and I'm like, thank you. Like, this is not a good environment. I don't think pregnant women are supposed to pull around on stuff and like go like jumping down and looking around.
No.
Like, I mean, I know they're perfectly capable, but like, this is dire circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I really liked this addition. I know it was kind of a little bit of a longer monologue. We only have 7 episodes, but I think it was helpful. I don't like that Dina is almost like a stand-in for Ellie's rage at this point. Like, Why is she the one mad? Like, High Score Weekly in our Discord mentioned that like his wife has not played the game and was confused. Like he said, during the angry Dina part, my wife was like, why is Dina more upset about Joel and have to tell Ellie how to feel? And
very strange.
Yeah, strange. And like, I do get like Dina is the closest person to Ellie right now. And like probably just in general since Joel has passed. But yeah, it seems weird that she's having to like lay it out for us. Like, this is why you should be angry. Very different.
I wonder what will be the shift for Dina's character, because at some point Dina sort of not gives up, but realizes, yeah, this isn't worth someone else dying, and I guess it's going to probably take another person dying to hit that moment. Yeah, I feel like Dina was just gung ho in the game too, but like not to this extent, because that's what's missing. She spent a lot of time with Joel, so
that's true.
It's just something that but you don't get to see that. You just know from their conversation. So I think it would have helped maybe to see once again. I don't know.
I do like that they have, because like in this point in the game, Dina stays back because she's not feeling well, and also Ellie's like, don't fucking come here because you're pregnant. But she's like, especially like, she's very nauseous and throwing up a bunch, so she has to stay back. And so I like that they're bringing her along, and we're getting more dialogue, we're getting more like this backstory of Dina stuff. But yeah, it's just it's weird. It's the kind of thing too where like in the game we're going through the neighborhood at this section. We're not in this like random warehouse thing when Jesse comes, which getting ahead of myself. So it's like I'd love to hear behind the scenes of like at any point were they considering like still having it be in the neighborhood and like getting the scene where when Jesse comes to save Ellie, they get in the car and like in the truck and drive away. And there's that like set piece of escaping with Jesse. Because obviously we didn't get that here either. But yeah, I mean, ultimately for me, it's kind of a wash of the changes here, because we kind of ultimately got Ellie to the hospital, and now Dina is out of action, and Jesse's here, and Jesse wants to take them home, and Tom all of the pieces are finally kind of getting in place, and they're just doing it in a different way. But it's like, I don't know.
It's just
happening
pieces,
and it's happening so fast, like almost as fast as these stalkers sneaked up on Ellie. Okay, so like I think this was the next scene where they make it to this abandoned warehouse. I think, am I forgetting anything? I watched it more than y'all, which is a bad sign that I can't remember.
No, I think you're good. And I did want to acknowledge the first time chatter break Stu. Welcome
snap.
to the discussion.
Hello.
Ellie in the show seems unmotivated to do the mission. I do think that that's true up until the end. I do think that like we're getting, and I think it's indicative of like she's by herself now, and maybe this is what happens when she's left to her own devices. You know what I mean?
Not having to care and not having to worry about somebody, you know?
Yeah.
Good observation there, Kaylor.
Mm-hmm.
I meant to say Kaylor. I didn't want y'all to think I just said Kaylor on accident. I didn't.
But yeah, no, I think they get like it gets dark after they're like Dina's like we can stay, we can go. What do you want to do? And she's like, I want to go. And then they find the warehouse. So,
the warehouse.
I don't think we're missing anything.
Crawl through a hole or something in the wall, get inside, whatever. And obviously it's creepy as fuck. And they're like, okay, where's the infected? And then one like peeks up its little head like,
that's so scary. I screamed. I was like,
I can't imitate the stalker.
They're so creepy to me. I don't know.
So
it's something about the reflective eyes, which in the podcast they mentioned that's a very intentional choice. It creeps me the fuck out.
It's like a little cat in the woods, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not just one. It's like 5, 6, I think, like maybe a dozen, actually. And I was like, there's no way that they're going to get out of here. I'm like, what's going to happen next? I actually didn't expect Jesse to show up. No. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. But yeah, I like how when Ellie's just basically like, it's one of the smart ones. They're going to be strategic little shits. And like, this one's going to try to go up here. So we're going to do this. I'm going to we got to trick it. And that was before they knew there was like a dozen of them. And as soon as like Ellie realizes, oh my God, there's a lot. I guess, Dina, run in this cage and lock yourself in there so you don't die. I can deal with a few bites. I've been bitten 5 times so far this season.
Yeah.
Let me take the biting on. And Dina goes and runs, locks herself up. And this part really freaked me out, though. It was a good scary scene.
It was.
Obviously, when they jump on top of the cage and they're like peeling it back. And I'm like, oh, what is she going to do? Oh, she's trapped. Oh, that was scary. And
it was.
I love
something.
I like the stalkers, though.
Yeah.
Me too.
Me too. I'm realizing that how do y'all feel about how this show has kind of changed it to where it's usually either a horde or still too many that they can actually handle them, or it's like one in terms of the infected? Like, I feel like with the game, so much of it is because, it's active, you're playing it, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like the dynamic is just very different in the show this season, especially because last season there was barely any infected throughout. But we still, like in the museum, that felt, in episode 2 of the first season, that felt like kind of your classic Last of Us situation where you go in a room, there's a couple clickers, maybe a runner, and you deal with it. But like, I feel like it's either none or way too many this season. Have y'all noticed that? Is that weird to you?
It's got to be like, it's strange, but it has to be like a technical thing. Like it's got to be hard.
Right? It must be.
It has to, because like there's got to be. Both scenes are really good. So why haven't they done a really good in between? Like, have a few more. Have like 4 or 3, and like you actually seen the characters like throw a brick at them. I don't know, a Molotov, and stabbing them. Like we got a few scenes like that, but yeah, it's got to be like just the ability to do it, or the budget, which I know their budget like is they should have plenty of money.
Yeah,
dang, maybe it all
Use
went
your
into
money.
Maybe it went all into that Jackson episode, because there's no telling how much that cost to make. Like,
yeah,
I mean, and last episode, the train sequence must have been so expensive.
Yeah, like doing that completely underground. Like, there's no
and like
telling.
bringing in a train and installing it in this warehouse.
Yeah.
Must have been.
D-Guns had a good point that it could be a technical thing. You know what they could do? Make a video game out of this. Now that's something. Would be something. I agree. I think that like, I also think it probably has something to do with the fact that they're trying to make the threat of the clickers and the infected like bigger and like I think I don't know.
It may be unexpected because I like what you said there, like, you know, the threat, making the threat like linger and just be something you don't know how it could evolve, because like that's what they're doing, the stalkers and even the spores. Like, how can this threat keep evolving to keep viewers on their toes? So maybe they're leaning more into that versus I don't know.
No, that's fair. I do think, though, I think there is a correlation, if I can cook. I think there is a correlation between the lack of actually being able to deal with infected by killing them and always having to run, and Ellie's lack of like actionable rage.
Yeah.
Because she's just like not killing shit in the season. She's like, you know, every now and then, like obviously she's now killed Nora but like
allegedly.
But she killed a couple stalkers and only Nora this episode. And like last episode, a couple runners while they were running away. Like obviously that was a horde. Like she couldn't have killed all of them. But I feel like I think there's a correlation there between this different Ellie and not being able to.
You're onto something.
I think I'm onto something.
You are.
He's cooking, folks. He is
cooking. Simply, I'm cooking.
I smell the bread baking. It smells delicious. But yeah, I think good point, because that could help us feel a little bit more, or at least like Ellie's ability to get the job done would be more believable. Yeah. Like we would feel like if she shows up in front of Abby, like I don't even know what that could look like for this character, for this Ellie yet, because I haven't seen her. Like, you know, you made me think of something else.
Let's go.
Listen, I got two things for y'all. This is a good part, a little segue anyway, before we continue with the story. I got two things. First thing, hold on.
Hold, please.
Listen, where's Shimmer at?
First of all, I can't talk about it.
Where's Shimmer at? Did they leave the horse in the record store?
Yeah, I think so, because they because Shimmer should have died day one, right? Because they go to the school day one. They blow up, land, like they wake up in the school. Dina saves Ellie, blah blah blah. So that was all day one.
Thoughts and prayers for Shimmer in the chat.
Day 2 is over now. So I think Shimmer is either still in the record store or she's just alive in the theater and they'll take her home.
What the fuck?
After tomorrow.
I need Shimmer to die. I need that horse to eat it. Because that was the reason why, and I'm sad because we didn't get the scene that happens after that. And I loved it because Dina falling through the roof, obviously that might have been hard to do. They could do something different. But the whole segment of Dina falling through the roof and then Ellie's like still like tied up. I'm talking about the part where Ellie got captured in the chair and you're like having to use the controller to like slide back and forth. I'm doing really good.
Well, the person that they kill there is not in the show anymore.
You're right. So
I think that the school no longer has a purpose.
It could have been. They could have put that in another scene though. But I loved being able to see Ellie once again, like just struggle. Like no matter what, this girl is like tied in a chair. She still got out of there, got herself out, and went and stabbed this guy in the neck. We just haven't seen. And to your point, like I want more scenes like that.
Yeah, the more I've thought about it, the more I think that the reason we only got 7 episodes is for budget. Because, like, obviously, a show like The Last of Us doesn't have an unlimited budget, no matter how successful it is, because it's still a business. And you cut Abby's crew from, I don't remember the real number, let's just say 7 to 4. Now, all of a sudden, that's 3 or, 2 or 3 set pieces you don't have to budget and find. Because also, getting ahead of ourselves, it seems like every Pedro flashback is in episode 6. So that is probably a budget thing. Let's have him for a couple days of shooting, all in episode 6. And then now we don't have to have, because also he's the fucking busiest man in Hollywood right now. He's making Fantastic Four. So I think that things are starting to fall into place for me of like, oh, I'm understanding why things have been changed and that it's shorter. Because like, I'm shocked that we're going to get to the end of day 3 by episode 7. And it seems like episode 6 is going to be very little, if any, of day 3. So,
and what's going to be next season? What is next season? Like, I know, I'm just like, I know we're going to have a whole discussion, but also like, I really like to believe what High Score Weekly has said, which is that Tommy maybe found Shimmer. And that's a good call, actually, because that could be, because they found they got to the which also my husband, not a knower of the second game, was like, how did Jesse find them? Like he was very much didn't think that was super believable that Jesse found them. I didn't care so much about that. Like he explains a little bit and then they kind of skip, but like maybe they saw Shimmer outside the music shop or something, which she was in.
Good
and then that led them to the theater, which is where they found the map. Possibly.
Well, Shimmer, it went music store, subway, theater, right?
Yeah.
So Shimmer, who the fuck knows? Like,
I hope she's living her best life. Truly,
she's probably living her best life. They're gonna have a little spinoff on WB. Is WB still a thing?
I don't know.
My Little Shimmer.
I would like to believe that.
Yeah.
Jerica, you had another point to make. I think we lost it somewhere.
No, that was it. It bled into that because of Shimmer, the lack of Shimmer dying. We don't really get that scene of Ellie in the chair and like stabbing the guy's neck. Anyways. And then I just had that silly picture of Shimmer, and I wanted to say I really want that horse to die in front of Kayla because I'm a horrible person.
That is brutal.
I'm brutal. That, just so you know.
Man, I can't believe Shimmer's not dead yet. Okay, but luckily we thought Ellie was about to end up just as dead as Shimmer in the game. But yeah, Jesse shows up with a shotgun. It was a shotgun, right?
I think it was not a shotgun.
Okay, something shows up, some gun, and it starts blasting him and saving the day. Ellie, I think, got bit again. Like she got bit a few more times. Poor Ellie, just getting bit all over the tummy. That sucks.
That poor tummy of hers.
Poor tummy.
And then Dina's like, "No, she didn't. No, she didn't.
Oh yeah. No, she didn't. She's not bit. She's fine."
I did have to kind of push aside some feelings of like, there's no way Jesse didn't see her have fucking 4 stalkers on her. There's no way that he believes that she wasn't bit. But what?
I mean, tensions are high, you know?
Maybe, I love that D-Guns corrects me and says rifle. Because he is D-Guns.
Can we all just also take, I think we've said it before. If we've said it once, we've said it 1,000 times, but young man Zeno is so fucking hot.
God, he is a good looking man.
He's a good looking man. Can we just say that?
The voice just purrs. He's a purr. A purr? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Like that just,
he's angry. He's
real
angry.
pissed.
He's like, you think I want to fucking talk to you right now? I was like,
he's pissed at these women. I was like, well, daddy's here, y'all.
Low-key was kind of mad that the man had to come in and save the woman, but let's be clear. I mean, it's fine if it's him. It's him. If it's Jesse, I understand. They're kind of being a little... They're not being the smartest.
To that point, I am enjoying, like, Ellie's sort of wrestling with that, because like, when Ellie shows up, it's almost like Ellie's, like, upset that Ellie couldn't protect and lead the situation. They were gonna die if Jesse didn't show up, and you can tell like Ellie's struggling with that, and that even goes on through like as they're going through the forest. I didn't even pay attention like when they exited and like how they got through this like gorgeous forest. Also creepy and unsettling because of Seraphites. But they're trying to get out of that situation and come across Seraphites. I don't think I missed any other small details there, but the exit.
They ran away from that WLF and landed in the woods, and the WLF was like, "Oh, we can't go in there." Because,
because of Seraphites.
Really quick, good point from High Score Weekly. I wonder if Tommy spilled the beans to Jesse about Ellie. Wonder if he knows.
Coulda.
Who's to say? But it would be weird
Probably
that
not.
he would know before Dina. I don't know.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe. Anyways, sorry.
Man, that would make me feel shitty by the time I get back after beating this lady up. I get back and Jesse and Dina are both like, we know. He knows. And I have to explain to him, like, well, I don't want to talk about it right now. I just killed a lady. Maybe that's the conversation that happens when they get back. And then also,
maybe
Dina's having a baby. Man.
Yeah, and it would be nice because from my recollection of the game, I don't think Jesse learns about Ellie's immunity. I think he does learn about Jesse or about Dina being pregnant before he
doesn't.
No, they don't tell him.
No, he doesn't find out.
I don't think I'm like 90.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
Because I remember thinking, man, that's fucked up. Like, he didn't even get to know. I think I'm like 90% sure he doesn't know when he dies in the game.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat, if you know, let us know, because I
he's got to have
don't
a
think
decent
so.
idea.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Especially if she pukes again, he might question it.
Because he ejaculated inside her.
That was good.
They got pregnancy
ASMR.
tests. They don't got condoms. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, damn. Anyways, Sorry.
Maybe they're harder to get than that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked this scene with the Seraphites, though.
Yeah.
It's that weird thing of like, does this now mean that we don't get Abby in that exact situation next season, and Yar and Lev end up saving Abby in a different capacity? Maybe.
I hope so, especially with the little, what's it called again? The scythe.
Man, that was gross.
He like slowly unbuttons the shirt. I was like, oh, why do you do it like that? Yeah.
But like that, I was also thinking back to when I was cooking earlier about Ellie. It's the kind of thing where, like, in the game, you see this many people, and like, you can kill that many people. It's just a matter of time, and like, you just have to figure it out. But in the show, that like, you're more scared for these three because there's so many Seraphites, and it's this new. They all have fucking torches, and they're disemboweling people. So it's like they're probably freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, I do like that. I like that the show is not really letting you know who you should feel bad for, because, and what really the answer is no one, which is kind of the point of The Last of Us 2, is like, really you should feel bad for no one, because like, yes, the WLFs are absolutely like brutalizing and doing all this crazy stuff to the Seraphites, but also the Seraphites are like literally sacrificing people and like making it like a ritual. So it's like, I like that. I actually do like that you're kind of like, there's no like good guy here, which is kind of the whole point of the show and the game anyway, is like that aspect. But I think that's very clearly laid out here, and I like that is very much closely tied to that's in the game. It's in the game. That scene was horrific.
I do believe that is in the game.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Also, I want to address in the chat, D-Gun says his name is Jesse Joel, which is also the name of Dina's son.
Don't believe it. Send me your birth certificate so I can see it. Thank you.
Social security number as well, please.
Yep.
Yes. Add that in there. Mother's maiden name.
Color of your first car, etc., etc.
Correct. Yes.
Oh, finally, I could use this now. And then during the next scene, y'all, I actually have something extra here. Just give me a few moments.
Oh,
like
no.
20 seconds here.
I fear.
Y'all.
I did, while you do that, I did like, oh no.
No, you're okay.
I liked Jesse, excuse me. I liked Jesse kind of giving Ellie the business as they were in the woods. Like, you think I want to fucking talk to you right now? How pissed he is at her with how everything went down. She's like, we didn't need your help. He's like, oh, really? You didn't? Well, we didn't until we did. That was...
Yeah, I didn't really like that. I don't know. I mean, I get it because it makes sense for these versions of the characters, but it is a very different direction than like, I didn't get to, I've been trying to replay the game, but I did watch the clips from like when Jesse gets to them, and it's like, he's like, yeah, we didn't want you guys to come alone. Like, it's a totally different tone, which I guess makes sense, like given the circumstances.
Sure.
But, yeah, I don't know. The bit about like until you did, and I was
sure. I mean, I do wish that, like, in the game, Jesse doesn't actually save Ellie. He just shows up with Ellie. So like, it does feel weird. It's like, why do we need this huge strong man to come save them?
But I mean, to be clear, they were in the trenches. So I mean, like,
sure.
There is that.
No sudden movements. I'm just gonna not be able to do what I was doing because I'm afraid my computer might literally die, and it's still telling me that CPU usage is too high.
I would like.
I guess this is a good transition, but I don't think this was the cause. I think just something else is trying to run on my end. I don't know what it is on my system, but I was just trying to pull up this meme. Dina gets an arrow to the knee. That's
the last time you'll do that.
Yep, I won't ever try to put a meme in my podcast show, live show. But I thought that was funny. That's all I was trying to pull up, and I had some other stills.
So funny.
It's not happening. I was so excited for that and a few other surprises, but it's just gonna die. So yeah. All right, the show must go on.
Wait, I see it.
Sorry that we're glitchy. Huh?
I just saw the meme.
You saw it? Yeah.
I missed it. Damn.
It's probably extra delayed. You'll have to go back and look at that one.
I will. I would love to.
Wow.
It'd be my distinct pleasure.
Incredible. Thank you, Jerica, for persevering.
Ooh, please don't die, computer. Please don't die. Okay. Where were we? Yes. The Seraphites hear them. And then Dina gets an arrow to the knee, the leg area. And Jesse picks her up, and Jesse takes her away. And then I think Ellie's like distracting the Seraphite so they can get away, and Ellie gets away. That was my ramble there. Okay, I got us there.
She gets to the tree and she goes, "Oh, you can't see me," and it works.
And
They really missed an opportunity too, because I don't know if you saw or y'all have the desktop wallpapers from Naughty Dog with the two different versions of Ellie at the tree and then playing the guitar. I thought they were going to recreate the one with like, obviously there's no machete here, but like I saw like the huge trees and that made me think of that.
I thought so too.
That image.
lack of tools in this season. No arrow and bow, no machete, no bottles. Well, there was the bottle in the first episode. No bricks. There's not a lot of like
no listening
props. Game props.
Yeah.
We need more brick, more Molotov,
No Molotov. Like there's nothing to throw and do. And yeah, I agree.
Show,
No, I am. You know what? I love this show because I thought they were going to kill the dog and they didn't. And I'm so glad.
It's never too late.
You do have
that, and Shimmer's probably going to die.
Anyways.
All right. The biggest part of the episode, we finally arrive at the moment we've been waiting for. We've been waiting to see Ellie mad. And we finally get that. Ellie sneaks into the hospital, right? Yeah, the dog was there. Luckily, she didn't have to kill the dog yet. Might be a different story in season 3. We'll see. And then sneaks her way into the hospital. I can't remember if she went up a floor or down a floor, but finally, Dina, I think, picked up on earlier in the episode, like exact locations of Nora in the hospital, like left wing or something like that, because literally they were sharing all those details over the radio. So Ellie gets to her pretty quickly. And basically, Nora's got her back to her, just like in the game, and confronts her and has her gun held and is like, "Where is Abby?" And then at that point, it's pretty much identical to the game.
Yes.
I think it's identical, like exactly to a T, like the game. Only difference I maybe picked up was that there was a little bit more dialogue about what Joel did once again, and the line was, basically like Nora saying, "I still hear his screams at night. Like that was a tough thing for us to do. It still keeps me up at night," that sort of thing. And then all of a sudden there's like a shift, and basically she's like, "That bitch got what he deserved." I think it was like literally that line, something like that.
Line,
that little bitch got what he deserved or something. And that like turned the light switch onto extreme vengeance for Ellie. And then like Nora like tosses some liquid. What was the liquid? Was it oil? Hot?
Unclear. I think it was some sort of chemical.
Hurt. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was something chemical that she was using to like get the blood out of those rags and stuff. I don't know. It might have been
probably
bleach,
alcohol, maybe, or bleach.
Maybe,
yeah.
Which is drinkable.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Don't try that at home, kids. Don't be a kid and watching this. Actually, you shouldn't be watching this. You should not be here.
But yeah, I was like, it burns the eyes. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
By this.
Yeah.
One thing that I know that was different because I just watched, like I wanted to watch some of the clips, was that the chase is a little bit longer in the game, and the WLF are more involved in coming after Ellie as she's like descending, and she takes Nora down there. She doesn't find Nora down there. I mean, kind of like in the elevator.
She like tackles
scene,
her in there, right?
Yeah, she tackles Nora into the elevator shaft and is like dragging her, and then they come upon the spores, and then beat for beat, pretty much, except for the, like Jerica mentioned, the additions of like. Once again, we get to rehash, and I do think it works only because you get to see Ellie gives no fucks. She said, yeah, I know exactly. I'm not trying to get ahead, but like, I know exactly what that man did, and I do not care.
I don't think it's ever, maybe I'll get y'all's thoughts here, but was it ever just like relayed to Ellie that Joel killed Abby's dad? Because this was the first time I really have a recollection of like her hearing that.
You mean in the show or the game?
Either.
Well, in the show, I think we don't see.
Does Ellie know? I know we haven't seen a conversation yet, but no, in the game, like mainly the game, you're never like Ellie's never told verbatim like, did you know Joel killed Abby's dad?
No, yeah, I agree, and I don't think so. In the game, she does not know it's Abby's dad.
I think you're
She
right.
just knows that he killed for her to save her from being excavated, basically.
I do like in the show, like, or in the show that conversation's happening, and then like I like that addition.
High Score Weekly says he looked it up and confirms Ellie does not know in the game about Abby's dad. I wonder if that'll mean anything.
It's got to, right? Can't be an accident because that's extra lines for a reason.
Sure.
I think she still just doesn't care. Like, I love this scene for this reason. Give me the rage.
You know,
yeah, well,
give it to me.
I agree, Kayla.
I did really like another piece of information that I can't remember if that's in the game or not. When Nora said, like, and then she's like, you know, and she says, Ellie says, like, I know that Joel killed everybody, which I think is mostly for the not knowers that are watching. Is like, oh, so, which we're going to find this out next episode in the flashback episode. But I thought that was interesting to see Ellie. That was, one of the first moments of her being like, I'm just here to fuck shit up. Of like, I know exactly what he did, and I still want to fucking kill you and Abby.
I kind of love this because now I don't necessarily think it was worth this whole season not giving us anything, but it kind of made it hit a little bit harder. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but like, I was like, oh shit, she's actually mad. Wow. Like, I was kind of like surprised, like, because we haven't really seen this until now. I like that we didn't know that she knew anything. Which I don't remember in the game when she kills Nora, what she knows already, in the game, but still either way, like, I think like it just makes the moment even more like heightened and intense for like.
She definitely knows it in the game about why, like, that Joel killed everybody in Salt Lake.
That's true. Yeah.
Because that happens before.
It just hasn't been.
Any of the present day stuff,
right?
But with the Abby dad stuff, not knowing that,
I think we get.
I'm interested to see.
Do you think we get Abby and Ellie just yelling at each other like, "You killed my dad, but you killed my dad first," just like back and forth? Do you see that?
And then they kiss.
And then they kiss. And then he's like, "What about me?" And then Jesse's like, "I want in too." And then Shimmer's like, "I'm dead." Yeah, zombie horse. Okay. Yeah. Last couple scenes here.
Jerica's like, let's get the fuck out of here.
I was leaning into it, and then I was like, I gotta shut up. Let me continue on. I hit my mic. I apologize. Ellie confronts, corners Nora. Oh wow, I'm just jumping ahead. My bad. Let's see. Okay, I'm on the wrong session. No, before we get that, we actually get to see the spores in action. So I'm jumping ahead.
Yes.
Nora's running away.
Looks cool.
Ran away, obviously going to the bottom floor where going back to the beginning of the episode, hearing about the bottom floor, B3 being like closed off. That's where they're at. And yeah, there's a lot. Maybe this episode also killed the budget too, because I couldn't imagine that looked all hand done. I'm sure obviously the visual effects for the spores, but like the walls, seeing the cordyceps and the tendril, all the shit like on the walls and like the bodies.
Yeah, that was practical. They did that. They built that.
It was
because I saw it in the behind the scenes. Yeah,
crazy. Also, just to correct so that we don't get someone in the YouTube comments. Actually, they're on B2 here because we don't know what's in B3, which we do know what's in B3, but they're on B2 here.
B2. God, I'm mistaken. Yeah,
do we think? Here's a question. Sorry, Jerica.
No.
do we think we see spores more, or do we think that it is just a, like, if things are entrapped for a very long time, spores happen? Or do we think, like, now that spores are here, we're going to start seeing spores all over the place?
I love that you brought that up, because I was about to connect it to something Kayla said earlier. Like, when y'all were talking about spores and, like, will it make, or why is it taking so long for them to find a way to make sense for the story? I think it did just take a long time for them to figure out, hey, where can this make sense? If we use it to have the Nora and Ellie scene, this is how it's going to happen, but maybe we keep it contained. So yeah, I think they definitely keep it to some, spores are going to be something that's only on lower floors. Like, it's got to be underground, sort of places where it can't get exposed, maybe to oxygen. I don't know how mushrooms work. And
well, probably like the hotel scene with Abby.
With Abby, Rat King situation when you get down to those levels, and maybe places like, but obviously they got to avoid having them wear masks for long periods of time.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is interesting too, to think about, that like the people have not necessarily adapted to this element. You know what I mean? Like, in the games, everyone's like, put your mask on. Like, everyone's adapted to it, whereas the show, it's introduced as more of a newer discovery. So like, no one is going to be prepared for that necessarily. Right. Which I think the scene looked so good. Like, the little baby.
I wonder,
my voice
to that point.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No,
I wonder if in next season, if there's going to, because like, you make a very good point, Kayla, that now very few people in the world would even know about spores, because like in the game, the whole thing is like, this was ground zero, or one of the ground zeros for the infection. And so that's why it's so bad there, but it doesn't seem to necessarily be the case here. I think it's more so just like circumstance. But I wonder if in the next season, when we're getting like Abby and Lev and whatnot, I wonder if like the Seraphites have come across a situation like this and know about the spores. But because the Seraphites are so kind of contained, that's not public knowledge kind of thing. So if Lev's like, oh, we need masks here, I wonder if, because otherwise, how would Abby know about spores? Because in the timeline, Abby is at the hospital, or she's at the hotel before she's at the hospital when Ellie's at the hospital. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Thinking out loud.
Yeah. Different plot devices, different things. Very curious to see how it impacts.
Very curious.
I hope the spores come back. I enjoy it. But yeah, I've seen the infected guys stuck in the walls, like puffing out. Made my throat itchy. Made me. That's what made me make the sounds like. Yeah.
We have a couple of comments. One from Heroic Headgear. Oh my god. Patrick, you might have been about to mention this, but Heroic Headgear mentioned in the Discord that I bet they change it to, instead of a big boss fight, it'll be more of an immobile mass of bodies, and that would be atrocious.
I like this theory. However, the HBO official podcast has pretty strongly suggested that the Rat King will happen, but I guarantee you Abby's not going to kill it and fight it. I bet she just escapes from it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Unless she sneaks up behind it and like puts a little bomb inside of its crevices, you know, and then runs away. That'd be dope.
Up its Rat King hole.
Oh yeah, I thought you were saying it's rat. I can't make rectum and rat. I can't say. I can't. There you go. Thank you, Kayla.
There you go.
Excellent.
That's what you're here for.
Rectal cocktail.
Man. Yeah. That's gonna be a drink at my wedding. Which is hopefully gonna be Last of Us theme. So thank you. So Ellie's moral compass here is starting to get questioned. She gets right up on Nora. Nora's like on the floor, obviously not immune like Ellie. So just struggling, dying slowly here, becoming infected, and approaches her, and they have that conversation, basically talking about like, Ellie just keeps asking her, like, where's Abby? Tell me where's that? Where is she? Just tell me where she is. I don't know about y'all, but the red light, I love, there's just a fear that unlocks inside of my heart when I see this red light. That's why I have it behind me tonight. It just, anytime I see a bright red light, I think about The Last of Us. When I see
iconic.
A red lightsaber now, I think about The Last of Us, not Star Wars. Makes me think of this one moment because it's just a big shift for Ellie. And in the game, comparing it to the show, the game, you don't want it to happen, but I think it's really interesting that in the show we're really wanting it to happen. It's a weird
interesting.
It's so strange, and it's pretty much same for same. I think the conversation, there's not much to be said, just the fact that she won't give up the location of Abby, and then Ellie just sort of loses herself to that moment, grabs a pipe, which I think is different than the game, and we don't really see it. And I don't think so in the game either. We don't see it. We just see like facing Ellie scene and her like her emotions going through it. And I think Bella captured that perfectly here. And yeah, that's the end of Nora. I probably forgot a few details, but just thinking about the game, I don't know if y'all felt, I assume y'all probably felt this way too, but like it was one of those moments where I didn't want to hit X to continue. I wanted to hit circle to go back. I'm like, don't do this, Ellie, don't do it. But in the show, I'm like, finally, we get to see this scene.
Yeah, so. I don't know. That has to be intentional for me. I don't know, because maybe they want you to be more, because this is basically Ellie's POV the whole time, and allegedly or presumably Abby next season, like you want to be rooting for Ellie even though you don't at the same time. So like, yeah, I think it is interesting, right? How the parallel of like us not wanting to do it in the game. A couple things I thought were interesting that they left out from the dialogue with Nora was, which also High School Weekly said Nora on the Flora, which I think is so funny.
Stop it.
God.
and one thing that I thought was interesting that they left out was in the game, Nora says, "I won't give up my friend." And in the game, she says that. And so in the show, they don't say that. And it I don't know. It's just that's a little thing, but I think it's interesting, like less of a connection between her and Abby. And another thing that I thought was interesting was like, clearly Nora has no motivation to give you the answer because she's dying. Like it's not like they address that in the game because Nora says, "Well, I'm going to die like anyway." And then Ellie says, "Well, it can be
faster or whatever.
It can be faster or we can make you suffer." Like that is addressed in the game and not in the show. Cause to me, I was like, well, what? She's clearly not going to tell you anything. Like she's dying.
Well, I think they'll remedy that in either next episode or episode 7, depending on if next episode is only flashbacks, because what we get next of Ellie is her like shook at how kind of far she went. She's like covered in Nora's blood and stuff. And there's a comment about like, she got it out of her. So as long as they have that, I think we can kind of fill in the blanks, hopefully.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's my last kind of thoughts on that. Yeah. Rage! Unleash! Let it out!
I do wish we had gotten a little bit more of Nora, a little Mora. But I think ultimately, I think I did. I
don't know why that got me.
Hey, I get it. I'm just so funny and charming. I think.
God.
Stop it. I think. Ultimately, I liked this scene a lot, and yeah, I think we're all aligned that it's about fucking time that we're getting Ellie beating the shit out of somebody.
Somebody, anyone, please. Yeah, that's my thoughts.
That's her thoughts.
Beautiful. And it wouldn't be a Last of Us episode if, we get to see the pain and rage of someone's, I guess, vengeance come full circle. Then to feel a little happiness at the end. We get a flashback of Joel. Also probably makes this episode expensive. Talking about, Pedro Pascal showing up. And it looks like this.
So good. Might I add?
Right after the moment, Ellie supposedly beats up Nora, maybe to death. We'll find out on the next episode. We get a flashback of Ellie waking up, still living in Joel's house before she moved out to the garage, and Joel just comes in there saying,
"Good catch."
Huh?
Cool good kid? Catch. That's still in the house.
Yeah.
I thought you said Joel said, "Good catch, kid." Are they playing baseball up there?
I think he just says, "Hey, kiddo."
Hey, kiddo. Right. Yeah, just walks in and says, "Hey, kiddo." Ellie wakes up and Has that grid.
This both worked for me and very much did not work for me. Both
Same.
things. Can be
I
true,
agree.
feel.
Like I don't know. I don't know what could have worked instead. Just knowing what we are going to probably get next episode could have been enough. I didn't need that extra, but maybe that's the lead into the next episode. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It just like tonally, it was a bit shocking to go from something, I think more so it's just the length. The fact that it was like 3 seconds and then we're done, I think was the more surprising part. Like I think I don't know, it might sound silly, but it might have helped to like see Ellie like getting back to the theater for a second or something, and like sitting. I don't know. I feel like there was just a little something missing. Then instead of just going from whack, 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 hard cut to Ellie waking up, happy, sunshine, Joel's alive. It was weird to me.
Can I just say that Ryan Selvey calls out, like, I could not help but think that one scene in Monsters, Inc. at the end where Sully opens up the door and Boo sits up and she goes, Kitty! And it's like, and that literally, that's like the ending scene, and it's like the same like vibe.
Sure.
I thought it was so funny. I don't know. For me, I didn't feel too strongly about this part. I mean, I love getting to see Mi Paquito Pedro. But I think it's just indicative of like what we're going to be getting next, and maybe like, but I think if I would lean more towards not having it, because I liked the feeling of ominous like vengeance that we finally got, and it feels so much like, oh, the sun is shining, I'm waking up, I'm happy, like it's like very much like quickly diverting away from that energy that we just got, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like there was just like 3 or 4 seconds of something, some transitional something to get us there. I think ultimately, like, I think it's strong to end on that, of like, especially for a TV audience, like, oh, we're getting more Joel, great. But it just, I felt like something was missing to get us to that point personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Do y'all think that next episode, if there's any sort of present day lead into Flashback Central, or do we think it's just flashback? Like, obviously we're going to get the Eugene stuff next episode. We're going to get the museum stuff next episode. But like, do we think it's only flashbacks, or do we think there's like a little?
I think we get the aftermath, like right after, like Ellie getting back to the theater. Yeah. At least like that feeling or that emotion, and maybe even that scene with like, well, I don't know, because like Dina's got an arrow in her leg. That's different than the game. So, you know, there's a moment between Ellie and Dina, like after the fact. That's pretty big part of the game. It's one of my favorite scenes. It's so sad. It's just sad. And I don't know, like, do we get that moment? But I don't think so, because Ellie or Dina's got an arrow in the leg. So we got to see that point at some. I don't know. Maybe they just. I don't know. I could see that starting the episode, but now with Dina injured, I don't know. They're not going to have that kind of moment. It's going to be sort of backwards. They both need help. So maybe it's Jesse rubbing their backs, you know?
Together at the same time.
True.
He's like, I got you, ladies.
I feel like we get a cold open into a flashback, because I don't think that there's a transitionary point where it would make sense that I can think of. I'm not a professional to like go to present day and then go to the flashback again. Like, I think we'll cold open with the past. And then I think I kind of, this may be an unpopular opinion, but like, I kind of hope that the whole episode isn't flashbacks. Like, I could see them doing that. And I do think that it's very important. And obviously I'm very excited for like the museum scene and like the beautiful moments that we had with Joel before, and the hard ones. But I don't know. I want to ride this wave of what Ellie's going through right now in the present. And I don't want to lose that like momentum necessarily that we finally have. Or, I mean, we may not necessarily lose it, because since we get these flashbacks, like maybe this is like what unlocks in Ellie, and we're seeing like her grieving process like in real time almost. Yeah.
It is a very like prestige television thing to do though, where like we get this really big dramatic moment and then we have an entire episode that doesn't address the moment and just does its own other thing. And then the following episode, we like pick back up in the story. It's like, I don't like it, but it does feel like, because especially remember when we were talking about predicting the season and there was that quote from Hallie Gross of like filming and doing episode 6 was like really emotional for everybody.
Yeah.
I think now we understand why that.
Yeah.
Because there's so much flashbackage happening. And this is probably not, it's not going to be Pedro's last day, but it's going to be a lot of his remaining time in the show.
Yeah.
I think.
I agree.
Do you mention, either one of you mentioned, like, what are we getting at? Is this where the Eugene bit shows up? Like, what happened to Eugene and Joel,
I think that'll be this coming episode.
This episode? Okay, cool. Yeah, because you would think...
need it.
You
I don't know.
But you would think, like, the last episode's going to be, finally, we're getting confrontation between Abby and Ellie, like, in the theater. You think that's what we're getting to. So it has to be, next episode. Get all the flashbacks out of your system for the next episode.
And then, I think episode 7 will be going to the aquarium. Tommy trying to convince Ellie to go home. And then Abby comes back to the theater. We probably don't see Lev like in the game where we don't see him until Abby's perspective. And I think we end on Why Let You Live and You Wasted It. Probably.
Yeah. I think that Tommy's not going to try to convince them to come back. I think that's Jesse, and I think Tommy might be an instigator of the situation, potentially. I don't know. I'm just curious how we get back to Tommy and like what that dynamic's going to be like with him in the mix at this point. Because they are all together at the theater, right? Or am I wrong? Is Tommy there?
There is a moment that they're all together at the theater. But it's like the day. So the first time Ellie sees Tommy is when Tommy and Jesse, if I'm not mistaken, get to Ellie right after she's killed Owen and Mel.
Yep.
At the aquarium. And then it's the next morning or later that night, whatever. And they're like, okay. And Ellie's like, yeah, no, you're right. We should just go home. And then Abby shows up.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. I very curious to see how this plays out. Before I forget, I did do a poll in our Discord, which was, are you convinced of Ellie's rage more so at this point in the season? So like, is it convincing for you? How do you feel? The options were, yes, I can see it. No change from the beginning. Or can't say, need to see more. And then I added, there's no time left, to be honest. That was the winner of can't say, need to see it more. 43% said that. 29% split on yes, I can see it and no change from the beginning for second place. So I thought that was interesting little tidbit.
I have an exclusive.
Yes.
Oh.
I split the tie. I was that third vote that sent the bottom one to the top. That's a ClickerBait exclusive.
Oh,
we lost Kayla, folks. But yeah, I saw it was a tie. I was like, we can't reveal poll results as a tie, so I voted.
That's true. Yeah, you can't ever do that.
Ryan Selvin says, please more Discord polls. I love this idea. I think we should definitely do more Discord polls.
Well, you ask, you shall receive.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We'll do that. Do that on the next
Testing
episode.
1, 2. Kayla, can you hear me? Not yet.
She's got her real gamer goggles. Not goggles. Those would be on her eyes. Ear goggles. She's got her gamer ear goggles on. She's got some big headphones. Can you hear us with those headphones, Kayla?
Headphones.
Oh.
Hello?
It might not be you. It might just
us?
finally be the computer just giving up life. It is giving me a flamey icon. It's been giving me this flamey icon for like...
Oh no, we should wrap up.
Yeah, we probably should. My computer might be literally burning up. So
DJ Kayla coming to you live with my thoughts. Boo, 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 boo. I'm just kidding. That was me. My AirPods died.
Yes.
I just revealed an exclusive.
Headphones on.
I split the tie in the vote.
Oh.
Yeah. And also Ryan wants us to do more polls, so we should do more polls.
You should join the Discord, everyone, so that you can participate in the polls. You can find it on dropinDropoutPod.com. I think that. What did everyone rate the episode really quick before we go? And
sure.
how does it rank upon the other episodes for you?
I think for me, last week is still my favorite from the season. I think so. I might put this right below it. I did really like the opener of the season too. So I'd probably put it either second or third for me. But like a solid 8 probably out of 10.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same.
Yeah.
I'm like a 7.5, I think.
Still an 8 out of 10.
I'm
Okay.
like 7.5.
I think
7.5-ish.
Talk it out, Kayla. Talk it out.
I agree, Jerica. I don't think it's the strongest. I think that I would put it at an 8 just because of like some of what we get, and I think like we did get some payoff of it finally, with some of the things that were missing for me. So I see it as a good trajectory, and I think like my ranking will be all over the place, changing when this is over. So don't worry, that will be a part of our last like follow up episode. Is we will rank them all, and how we think they stand up to each other. I think 8 out of 10. Somebody said 6 out of 9. Hero Kid, good. That's funny. That's how I think we all feel similarly. Have our own critiques. We're always gonna have critiques. We're always gonna have things we like. It is what it is.
Shimmeryly.
Whoa.
We feel.
You want this horse so dead.
Jerica hates
I want
me.
it murdered. I
Confirmed.
cannot wait till it gets murdered and blown up. Falls right off
damn.
the road.
Unreal.
Wow.
If Shimmer don't die,
That's all.
I hate The Last of Us because I'm gonna go up to Neil and be like, "You should have killed that horse in season 2."
Wow.
That really made me mad as a gamer.
Jerica horse hater confirmed live on
I'm
air.
just kidding, y'all. I'm just
I
kidding.
know.
PETA is gonna be fucking breaking down
I
your
know.
doors, dude.
Between talking about killing horses and smoking cigarettes, I'm surprised no one showed up at my door yet. Like, I feel like those are pretty bad things. Like,
Yeah.
Hey,
horses are pretty loved by everyone.
cigarettes totally legal.
Not
Killing horses not.
That needs to be on a shirt. Maybe I design that next.
Yep. Check out our merch shop, jkgamespodcast.com, where you can find ClickerBait merch and JK Games merch. This is a fun one, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for dealing with my bad video, but I'm happy to be back.
At this point, nothing. Everything's bad in terms of video quality. My computer's dying. And I was literally just bragging to them like, "Ooh, I could do all this. My computer could run it." Literally has been
Maybe
fine.
I'm the
I
problem.
say those.
It was great last week without me.
No, it cannot be you because it's saying encoding overloaded. Turn down your video settings, and I have changed nothing.
Well,
I think for the sake of your future, we need to wrap the podcast up.
I know. I keep talking about. Okay.
Yes.
All right, guys. You know where to find us next week, and hopefully, my computer's not dead. We'll find out. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody's still here. Thank you so much for staying until the end. We'll see you next time. And yes, Dead Horse merch is coming. Bye.
Oh my god. Bye.
Goodbye.